What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Shot Doctor channel, where I will be showing you what a individual training workout session looks like with our guy Caden. If you're a parent, a coach, a trainer, this video is for you. But also, if you are a player looking to work on your game, what drills you should be doing, this video is also for you. So what I like to do to start off is some ball handling. A lot of these are Pistol Pete drills, really getting your hands moving, getting some stretching going at the same time, but really just working on getting that control with that ball. So we did quick taps to start off, and then we do squeeze the banana second, and then we do around the world. And so this gets our legs moving, gets our arms moving, and just is a good drill to warm up. I also suggest doing some dynamic stretching at the beginning. Save your static stretching, where you do things like touching your toes. Save that stuff for the end of your workout, but you want to do dynamic stretching at the beginning, static at the end. After we do that, we do some actual ball handling with the ball and dribbling here. Going front and back with our right hand. This is Caden's strong hand. And you can see me putting up numbers. It's kind of hard to see, but I'm switching up numbers every few seconds. So he's got to keep his head up. He's got to be looking at the number, not looking down at the ball. And then we're switching to his left hand. And this is an area that he really wanted to focus on, improving his left hand, which we'll show later on as well. So we went side to side. Now we're going front and back. And same thing, after I let him get a few reps in, then I put up my hand so that he has to now look up. And I always tell the guys that I'm working out, you should mess up every once in a while. If you're not ever messing up, you're really not challenging yourself, you're not pushing yourself. So the better you are as a player, the harder, the faster you should go, the more you should challenge yourself. If you're just beginning, you're going to naturally have some mistakes here and there, but that's okay. Okay, now we're doing one dribble between. So not every dribble between, but just one dribble. If this is easy for you, then go ahead and go every single dribble between. And I told Caden here, it's okay to move your legs, especially if you are a beginner. Move your legs, okay? Help yourself out and move them up and down so that you can get that ball between your legs easier. And again, after he does a few of those, now we're going back door. One dribble, back door between the legs. Okay, now that we warmed up stationary, now we're moving down the court with it. Just doing some zigzag drills. What I typically have him do is go down the court without me down there, and he's able to look at the ball a little bit. On the way back, I like him to look at me and to then look at the numbers so that he has gotten some practice in with looking at the ball, but then he has improved working on looking up and looking at me so that he can see the numbers. And what I'm showing him here is angles. Okay, so we want to take an angle as we go between the legs. We don't want our shoulders facing the opposite sideline. We want them angled at the corners. And you can see he really focuses on this and does a good job. Now on the way back, he's got to have his head up so he can catch some of the numbers that I'm holding up. Even though you can't see it, I've got my hands up and I'm switching numbers throughout this. So we did crossover, we went between the legs. And again, I'm talking to him here about the angle. So when we go behind the back, we want that angle going at the corners so that I can put it behind my back and I'm still going up the court. If my shoulders are facing the sideline, I go behind the back, then I'm pushing it to the sideline instead of the opposite baseline. So you can see a few of these, he does a good job, and a few of them, he's more squared to the baseline, and thus the ball is not going the direction that we want it to. Really good here on the way back. He's angled, he's thinking about it, and he's able to change direction very efficiently and effectively. All right, the last one we're doing in and out, cross, between, behind. This is the most difficult one. In and out, cross, between, behind. That was a good one. You can see Caden's really getting better. He needs to work on when he goes between his legs, just keeping it a little bit tighter to his body, not getting it so far outside of his legs so that he can bring it behind his back effectively. Now this is real difficult as he has to look up and do this entire combination. For you younger players out there, when you lose it, just like Caden did, hustle after it. Don't hesitate, get right back into the drill. It's not a big deal. Don't get down on yourself. In and out, cross, between, behind.
Hang on, before we move on, I want to remind you guys about the launch of the individual personal training Facebook group. Here's what you get by joining the group. I've got a 100-page document of tons of shooting drills that you can apply to yourself right away. You will be able to upload your videos, and I will give you my breakdown and my feedback for you to become a better shooter. Next, we will have a weekly question and answer section. I will go live on there, and you can come on there and you can ask any questions. Hit the link below to join.
All right, now we're getting into one-hand form shooting. And I think it's important, whether you're a player or a trainer or coach, you want to do some conditioning stuff where you get a good sweat going, but your workouts should also consist of really breaking down specific skills. If you're just running up and down the entire time just to get a sweat, that's something that you can do on your own. But as a coach, you need to really focus on actually developing the skills necessary and breaking down the fundamentals in the workout. So they're, getting a good workout, they're getting a sweat going, but at the same time, their overall fundamentals and skills are improving as well. Now, what we're talking about here, shooting foot being in the middle, that's my right foot, left foot being halfway from my shooting foot, halfway back, and being shoulder width apart. Then I'm going to talk about having a slight quarter turn to my left. So those are the three things that we're really focusing on, and you will see Caden putting a lot of thought and effort into those three things throughout the rest of this workout. It's a three-step process. 1, 2, and then 3, we're shooting it. So here's his footwork, slight turn to the side, 1, straight out, 2, locked and loaded, and 3, he's going to extend at the basket. Here I'm talking to him about not having it on his palm, getting on his finger pads and pushing with his pads and his fingertips. That was better. He got it up higher. The key here is to be online. If you're online but you're just a little short, you need a little bit more legs, maybe a little bit less legs. Here I'm telling him to get a little bit lower and to try to see on top of the ball. This is going to create a little bit more power in his shot. That was good. A little bit of a push. We want more of a snap. I thought that was his best snap. You can see the ball got better arc on it. Now he just kind of has to combine the two together. And there it is. So it's really good. It's really encouraging to see how much Caden improves throughout all of these drills. Step 1, step 2, locked and loaded, and then step 3, snapping that wrist. Really good. And then I tell him, you have to memorize this. It's a muscle memory. Memorize the good ones so that you can replicate it over and over again. And then we take a step back here. And we're doing the same thing. Again, I'm talking to him about not having it on his palm. I can see the ball was shaky a little bit, and that's because it is on his palm. So you want to get it on the back of your hand, using your finger pads, using your finger pads and your fingertips to really generate the energy and power necessary. The other thing I'm talking to him about here is not dipping. Once he's down, that's as low as I want him to go. I then want him to think about going up and no longer dipping down. Get it locked and loaded, get as low as you need to, and then the rest of your energy is going at the rim. You're not going to bounce up and down. You can see a little bit of a bounce there. He was set, but then he bounced and went up. So I'm really trying to get him to eliminate that bounce, get lower, and then when he begins the movement, no longer bouncing, but instead going straight up into the shot. I told him, get lower so you don't have to bounce. And he's right on line there. So it's just a little matter of a little bit more legs, and there it was. Really good. All right, now we're shooting free throws. We are adding the guide hand here. And you can see Caden really putting a lot of thought into everything we've worked on. Got really good form, snaps the wrist really well. His feet are just like we had talked about. He's got his elbow in. And I told him here what I saw when he followed through, he kind of was stepping backwards. So when you shoot it and you release it, you want to think about falling forward. Okay, he sets his feet correctly here, but I noticed that there's a little 2-3 inches between his foot and the free throw lane. So if you're not having to jump, if you're old enough and you're strong enough that you don't need to jump, there's no reason to have any space between your foot and that free throw line. All right, now we're working on hitting the side of the backboard. What I like about this is you have to hit it dead on, or else it will tell you it wasn't good. So we're setting up, our footwork is exactly the same, and we're working on hitting the middle of the side of the backboard and having it come directly right back to us. As you can see, if you're off, then it will not come right back to you, and you're able to give yourself feedback, and you know that you do not shoot a perfect ball. So I like doing this. You know, when you shoot right in front of the rim, you'll be off a little bit sometimes, but it'll still go in. Here, you have to be perfect or else that ball will not come back to you. Now, like I said, Caden really wanted to work on his left hand, so this will be a big emphasis here as we continue our workout. And we're really just talking about, just like he set his right hand, we're doing the same thing with our left, getting underneath it, pushing it. The problem here is his right hand involvement, and that's what we're going to work to fix. I've talked about it before, having your offhand more in front or on top of the ball. Right now it's on the side for Caden, and that was causing him to really push the ball basically with two hands. So we went back to one-handed shooting so I could really figure out how he should put his right hand in the best place possible. And this is where I tell him, go ahead and try putting it a bit more in front. And he did not do it there, but I believe here in the next one, we will see he's got it now in front of his left hand, just to make sure that his left hand does not let it roll down the side. And this really helped him with his shot. Once we made that adjustment and he had his right hand in front of the ball instead of on the side, he was really able to push with his left hand, and his right hand was not involved. Now we are just progressing with our left hand. We started off with no steps, and now we're adding one step. So we're taking one step with our right, and then we're shooting it with our left hand. And you can see Caden make that adjustment with his right hand of putting it in front, not on the side. It's kind of hard to see, but that's what he's doing here. And he missed a few to start, but then he got a good streak going here, got comfortable with it. And you can see it was not a matter of strength for Caden. It was just a matter of getting that right hand out of the way so that his accuracy with his left could be on point. And once you make a few, work on swishing them. Now we're adding 2 steps. We're adding one more step, so this is 2 steps, which obviously you get after you pick up your dribble in basketball. So the first step is with the left, then the right. Everything else is the same. And then we're adding the dribble. So by now his muscle memory should be consistent with everything else we've done. We've progressed outside, and he's able to take one dribble, 2 steps, and make a left-handed layup. After he's comfortable with this, what I had him do is start extending further and further. As you can see, he's getting to the 3-point line and beyond here. He's right around the NBA line, able to take one dribble and get all the way to the basket. So really good considering where he started at from. All right, now we're going to work on shooting off the dribble. A very common mistake, like I'm showing here, is that many players that are right-handed will dribble with their right hand into their shot, and therefore their footwork is messed up. So what I'm having Caden do here is dribble with his left hand and then work on a left-right step into. That way his right foot ends up in front of his left. So if you're a younger player or you're a coach, pay attention to this. We do not want our left foot in front if we are a right-handed shooter. Therefore, you might want to try dribbling with your left hand in order to work on the footwork necessary to comfortably get your right foot in front. This is a more natural way to make sure that your right foot is in front when you go up to shoot it. And it's not so much about being fast, it's about focusing on the footwork to get it down. And then the last thing we're doing is working on our shot preparation, doing spot up shooting. So you can see me tell him here, stay down. As that ball comes to you, you want your shooting foot to be already in the air. So this is very important. It's a small thing. We don't want to catch the ball and then step, and we don't want to step too early where our foot is already landed and then catch the ball. We want it halfway in the air and then the ball being received, and then we do the other half as it lands. So pay attention to that as Caden is shooting here and see if he does a good job of having his shooting foot halfway in the air as he's receiving it. The first one, not so much, but that one, he was really good. And that one. And he's hitting as he's doing that. So you can see he's got a lot of good pace, good momentum, looks smooth. That one he caught and then stepped, and that's what we talked about. I just told him stay low. That was a good job. Good job stepping into that one. But it's something that you need to practice on. It's something that you need to think about, is the timing of receiving that pass while having your right foot already in the air but not down yet. You can see he hesitated a little bit there on that one. But overall, he's doing a really good job of staying low, catching it, and not bouncing. Okay, we want to be as low as we need to be, and then we're stepping and we're going up, not going down anymore. This will allow us to get our shot off quicker. And that's going to wrap it up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching and you learned something, and check out the other videos.